All right, welcome into 305 Guys on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick at 5 Reasons Sports. I got Alex Donno. You can follow him at Alex Donno. Going to talk Dolphins today, although we know the gear that Alex is wearing, and it's fine. You're allowed to. I mean, after that, you certainly could. I'm not going to question you on some of the late game decisions. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Dolphins today, though. We'll get a chance to question about a whole lot of decisions there. Use the code 5 at Prize Picks. We see some people are starting to sign up. That's because it's football season. Get the Dak Prescott half a yard play before he's traded. Also, you can play it with just about anything else there that you like. You can see Tyreek Hill. You think he's going to get a touchdown his first game? We'll see. He's not a captain anymore. Does it still count? Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. Put down your 5. Get your 50. That's the way to play right away. Excuse me. And again, this is our daily fantasy partner, legal again in the state of Florida. And you can play everything across the board. So go to Prize Picks. Use the code F-I-V-E. So here's where the Dolphins are. And we're going to try to put this into some kind of context, okay? This is year what of the rebuild? 5, 6,
5,
right? 6.
Yeah, 6 maybe. Yeah. How many years is this?
2020. It's 6, so it's 6. I equate it with him. Yeah, because that was the draft. Yeah. Okay, so we're in year 6 of the rebuild. We are on the second coach, but he's going into his 4th year. Same general manager, same owner, obviously. They're on the road in week 1 against a team that is not projected to be a playoff team this year, that is starting Daniel Jones at quarterback, not because they want to, because they didn't really like what Anthony Richardson provided
in training
camp. Yes. I see you're feeling it today. And they're up there, and as you just pointed out to me, and I thought this had flipped, but it has not, they're 1.5-point dogs. Now, I'm going to play them in this game. Okay, I'm just going to start there. I like them in this game. Okay, I like their pass rush against that quarterback. So that's what I'm leaning into here. We have some in our network who are a little bit more sanguine. I'm not going to use that word. I can't use it. I don't know how to pronounce it. A little bit more positive about this particular team than some others are. Like, for instance, our guy, Coach Eric, he thinks they're an 11-win team this year. That's the highest number that I've seen. I wouldn't go that high. But I can see if things break right, they can win 9 or 10. I think they win this game. But I think it tells you something that the public, at least so far, does not. Like, where are they if they're not favored? I know they're on the road, but still, like, this is not – this Colts team is flawed.
I mean, I think from the public point of view, I mean, first of all, you've had a lot of bad PR, including your, linebackers coach getting arrested for domestic battery and just being replaced right before the season. I don't know what it is about Dolphins assistant coaches. It's been a strange track record going long before the Mike McDaniel era. I think about Chris Furster, the offensive line coach with the white powder on the desk. There's been a lot of things over the years, and then there's been a lot of negative coverage for Tyreek Hill, who you mentioned is no longer a captain, and he and Tua don't seem to have the best of relationships at this point. And then, of course, Tyreek Hill basically quit the team at the end of last season, and then we sort of pretend nothing went on. People know Miami Dolphins cornerback room is really thin. You've had some injuries coming out of camp, so I can understand it. I mean, I'm with you. I would back the Dolphins to win this game and beat Daniel Jones, whether you're at home or on the road. In this case, like I think the Dolphins will probably win this game, straight up as a 1.5 underdogs. But I will also say, if you don't win this game, then how many games, honestly, are you going to win all year? I mean, you got Cleveland on the schedule this year. You got the Jets on the schedule a couple times this year. But if you don't, pass this opening season test, then, we may be looking at closer to a 6-win type of season than an 11-win type of season. So they better win this first one. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, and they get the home opener against the Patriots coming up after that, and there are a lot of people who are expecting the Patriots to be improved this year. They should be. I still think they're a year away, but that's not going to be an easy task because I do think they're going to be better coached.
Yeah.
Drake May going into his first full season as a starter. I think that obviously, they see a lot of upside there. I think he's going to be better than Mac Jones was. I was never a Mac Jones believer.
Same.
But then you look at it. If you don't win this one, you're right. Then you get New England at home, which again to me is a swing game. Then you go to Buffalo on a Thursday night primetime game in Buffalo. Just chalk it up. Then you get the Jets at home. Okay, that's obviously a rivalry game.
Should be. Yeah.
The Panthers back
Should
to
still be a dub, but yeah, it's a rivalry game, like you said.
right. But I think you have to get out of these first three at the very least 1 and 2. And then you win the two against the Jets and the Panthers,
Mm.
and then you're 3 and 2, and then you get back in sort of the heart of the schedule. Like, okay, but if they don't win this one and then they lose to New England, and then you know that the Bills game is coming up. I hate to say it, Donno, because again, I'm a Mike McDaniel guy, or I have been. But if you start this season 0-3, there's going to be calls from the very beginning of this year for him, and that once that starts to go sideways, like you're in real trouble. And again, I think again, Coach Eric thinks that this team is better balanced than they were last year. That may be so. I do think they're going to be better in the trenches. When you have a pass rush, you've got a chance. That's what I feel like, and they've got four guys that should be able to go get it. The secondary, you've got Minka. They think they found something in Jason Marshall. We'll see. He's a rookie. He's going to get picked on a little bit early. I would feel better if Kohu was still healthy. He's not.
Yeah.
The guys on the outside concern me. I don't think the Colts have necessarily the personnel to take consistent advantage of it, or the quarterback or the receivers to take advantage of it. I don't know that the Patriots do either. Honestly, I think the Bills don't really have a number one receiver. They're going to be spreading it out. So you may be okay with some of that stuff early, and particularly with the pass rush. But I want to see Mike lean into the running game early in the season. We'll see if he.
Yeah, and they say Achan should be ready to play, so that's a
Achan
plus.
should be ready to play. You think you found something in a rookie, so we'll see what that looks like. It's a good thing because Jalen Wright obviously didn't work out, and the tight end position to me is still in flux. And Tyreek, you just don't know. You don't know how he's going to handle. The fact that first thing, his personal life we know is messy. Okay, and then it does seem like his quarterback doesn't really want to deal with him anymore. He doesn't get voted a captain. There's trade conversation out there. I don't know. I can't possibly expect the best from him. And honestly, as much as I like Waddle, Alex, I'm expecting him to be hurt by week 3.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
Yeah, I mean, I opened up talking about the things that the general public are concerned about. I do share, some of your spots with optimism. Not only the pass rush, but the front seven, I think is going to be really good, and they're going to help. They're going to win. They're going to help this team maybe win some games you wouldn't expect. The potential on offense is always there. As long as Tyreek, can stay engaged, as long as Waddle can stay healthy, and of course, as long as Tua can stay healthy. That's the elephant in the room. We all know how important that is. And it's, something he's only managed to do for one full season so far, dating back to his high school career. He's only had the one full healthy season 2 years ago with the Dolphins. But I also I'm a big fan of the blocking schemes and the play designs and the running game. So I do feel good about Achan and Ollie Gordon, who you referenced, and the fact that Achan is healthy, I think is a big thing. So this is not a terrible football team by any stretch. I still question if they are tough enough, specifically on the offensive line. The better indicator will be once you start to get into the cold weather games later on in the season. And yeah, listen, for the games that they're not able to generate constant pressure, is their back end gonna get exposed? Like those are the big concerns that I would have. And it's the reason why I've kind of, in my mind, I've got the Dolphins as like a fringe playoff team. I look at it as like maybe a 50-50 for a wild card type of situation. Don't see them winning the division, obviously, with Buffalo at the top and New England maybe being resurgent this year. I see them as a fringe playoff team because I think they have some potential fatal flaws. And I think this year is going to show us how, because I feel like they're in a half measure, partial rebuild right now. Yeah. I think this season is going to tell us whether or not Stephen Ross is going to lean into a full rebuild starting next year, or if he's going to try to sort of plug in the holes again that we've kind of done for these last couple of seasons. So I'm pumped for it, but I do think this first Sunday, at least, I think is going to be a dub.
I mean, he's 81 years old, right? Does he really want to lean into a full rebuild? It feels like he's kind of hoping that they can figure some things out. And again, if you're going to try to get through a season, I respect the fact that they have kind of leaned into improving a strength. So, look, if you know you're not going to have an elite defensive backfield, right? You went and got Minka, but you lost Ramsey, obviously. You decide not to keep Fuller. Koho gets hurt. Okay. You know that and I don't know what Rasul Douglas is going to provide. I mean, it seems like it would have been better if they could have agreed to terms earlier. He came into camp so late. It seemed like he just wanted to sit out camp if he was going to get paid non-starter money, which is what Alfredo said, from the beginning. So we'll see how quickly he can acclimate. Um, what they basically decided to do is, look, our secondary isn't going to be great, so we're just going to rush the passer. And I get it. I get it as a philosophy. I believe in their defensive coordinator to this point. I've been tricked by defensive coordinators before. Coolidge saying the defense is better than the coach than the offense, and that may be what ends up happening here.
Yeah.
And I've said this, is if they get off to a slow start, we've seen this before. We saw this with Wannstedt and Jim Bates. We saw this with, Sperano and Todd Bowles, that you just turn it over to the defensive coordinator. Okay. And then you see if you give him a full season and you kind of see how that plays out. That would not stun me. I'll just say this, like, there are no must wins in the NFL in week 1, but this is pretty damn close to it in terms of setting a tone for the season. This is not that if they go up there and they get a win, even if the Colts are not great, there's some personnel on that team. Okay. If they get up there and they get a win, there will be a good feeling about this coming back into the home opener. And then I think that influences the way that they play in the second week. But I come back to this again, like within the Patriots. The Dolphins should be further along than the Patriots right now. They should be. Like, the Patriots had like a blip, right? And then, we're assuming they're going to be good again. The Dolphins still have a lot of the material that Greer brought in during the rebuild or moved for players that he brought in at that time. The Dolphins still have their established quarterback. Drake May is still learning in the NFL. Tua at his 6th year, provided that he's healthy, should be better than Drake May this year. If he's not, then no, he ain't worth the money. And that's kind of where this is at. You think they're going to win on Sunday? Why?
I think they're going to win on Sunday primarily because Daniel Jones is the Colts starting quarterback. I think I start there. I think the Dolphins are going to be able to pressure him, especially, I mean, Ethan, if there's the big knock on the Dolphins, front line, defensive line the last couple of years has been they just can't stay healthy. You look at what Phillips and Chubb have been through. You're not going to be any healthier than week 1. So I think this is really the Colts are facing the Dolphins at the wrong time. Maybe if this was week 8, you'd have some bodies banged up on the Dolphins side. I think the Dolphins pass rush is going to shine in this game. That's the primary reason why I see us coming away on top. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think, somewhere between, and if you see this, and I say this as a degenerate, so many NFL games like come down to 3 points or 7 points. It's not like college football. You get these crazy spreads. Like, I think this is going to be a close game on the road. It's going to be within a score, but I think the Dolphins are going to pull it out.
Well, if you say it comes down to a field goal, the Dolphins don't have their kicker. So that's not great either. And that's concerning. And I'll leave it here, okay? And we'll see how this plays out. We'll have another show on Thursday. I've been a Tua guy, okay? I see the limitations, but I also see the strengths when they can lean into what he does well, okay? Anticipation, I think his overall intelligence at the position is good. His accuracy is typically good. He doesn't usually try to do more than he should, although we've seen sometimes with the running that he will. He's not great at improvisation. I don't think that's a place that they want to lean in there. I think the offensive line is better, at least the starting group, than it has been in recent years. I'm concerned about an injury, seriously concerned about an injury, but I feel like as long as they keep the starting group together. But again, I'll come back to this, and this is where I turn on this. He's in year 6, okay? They have paid him, a lot of money. Sometimes it just comes down to which quarterback is better. Okay, we saw over the years, okay, I'm not comparing Tua to Brady or Mahomes or anything, but there have been times where Kansas City, New England, with Brady, with Mahomes, were beat to hell, okay, didn't have great personnel. Mahomes didn't have receivers for 3 years, and yet it just came down to that quarterback is better than the other quarterback. Tua needs to go up there and win this game. It ain't December. It ain't January. Okay. He's got a healthy group around him. Hill is still in there. Waddle is still in there. The offensive line at least is intact for where it has been in training camp. He has to be better than Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. I know he's not playing directly against Daniel Jones, but he kind of is. Sure. And in this case, quarterback is a win-loss is a quarterback stat when you're going against Daniel Jones. Okay. Like, he has to win this game, Alex. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, they're playing in a dome. Like the
Yeah,
climate is going to be
right.
perfect. It's
No
going to
climate,
be,
right.
72 degrees and zero chance of rain or anything like. I mean, don't when you've got speed like the Dolphins have on offense, you want to play in a dome. That's what they're going to have this weekend. So I'm with you, man. And this has been coming out of a crazy weekend in college football. And Ethan, I was watching North Carolina last night. I mean, I had my questions, obviously, as anybody would, because of the circus surrounding Bill Belichick and the girlfriend
Uh,
and all that. But in no way could I have imagined, what was it, 48-14, and they
mm-hmm.
they they had a good drive. Like they open up the game, like, oh my God, North Carolina's good, and then they
Yeah.
were an embarrassment for the next 52 minutes or 55 minutes of the football game. Like what is Bill still doing this for? Like Chapel Bill could be comfortably retired right now. Instead, he wants to embarrass himself on live TV. Like that was so bad.
With Jordan in the building, too. With
Yeah,
Jordan in the
right. Well,
building.
yeah, yeah. Michael Jordan and Jordan Hudson both in the building.
Right. Well, exactly. Well, yeah, that Jordan too. Yeah, the Michael that was like a Michael Jordan Wizards situation there.
Yeah,
It's not gonna end well. And the problem is the more that Bill coaches at this. By the way, I thought Bill was good on TV, much better than I expected him to be. Just stick to that. At
yeah.
this point, like these second acts, these third acts that these guys try to take, all he's really doing is despair. Is he's hurting his own legacy with New England because now it's looking more and more and more and more like it was just Brady, which is not
Yeah,
something that
right.
obviously he wanted. We'll close with this from Aaron Andrews, who's always here with us on the show. Healthy Tua Dolphins are winning 9-11 max,
Yeah,
out 80% of the season, either 4, 5, 6. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I think they
same.
can win 9 or 10 if everything breaks right with Tua. If he's hurt, I have no confidence in their backup quarterback situation. Not if Wilson is going to get the nod before yours, which he is, and I just don't feel good about it. I don't think he's a quarterback you win with. Hopefully I'm proven wrong on that, but I just don't think so. I will be back on Thursday, but again, both you and I, as pessimistic as this show has been, are picking them to win on Thursday because thank you, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. By the way, he's played against the Dolphins once with the Giants, did not throw a pick. But he threw for 132 yards on like 60% completions. Didn't really do much. The Dolphins won that game. We'll see if the Dolphins win up there as well. Prize Picks, use the code 5FIVE. I'd play the under. I am playing Tua over 1.5 touchdowns. By the way, it seems like an easy play to me.
I'd play
I
that.
feel like
Yeah.
he'll get a couple up there. Have a good day, everybody.
See ya.